Welcome back to another episode of the 5060 Show.
Well, we always gonna bring you 110%.
And man, I'm your host, Scoobs.
And I'm Coach Rosey.
Man, welcome back, Rosey. Peop people was kind of clowning you a little bit, probably off the radar. They was like, Rosie's injured, huh? Some people's watching it.
Listen, man, we gotta, everybody gotta take a little time sometime and just, clear your mind.
Yeah. I said, hey, we just getting ready for the playoffs. Some people be having them type of injuries. But you
You
back,
gotta
man.
save me. You gotta save me for the big shows, for the big shows.
Right, man.
Nah,
But
yeah, yeah. Nah, everything's been good, man. Just enjoying this time off from work and with the kids and just had Christmas and all that. So it's been good, man. You know, this week will be a big thing because I'm in the championship of our fantasy league, and I'm right now, I'm predicted to win because Lamar Jackson got 40 points last night. So, if we can go ahead and get this dub, then you're gonna have to give me just tell them bring me my money. Just have to tell them bring me my money because that's
I
what we're
got
gonna do.
yeah, yeah. I love it, man. I'll say this before I ever speak on my past week. It's always just a great feeling when it comes to fantasy football. So, for those ladies and gentlemen that have not played football or thinking about playing, excuse me, fantasy football, trust me, it changes your whole outlook on just about every game, especially when your players are playing. But again, it just makes it even more fun when some money is on the line, man.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
Rosie's in that championship, versus should we say Betty or Jason? I don't
We just we just gonna say Betty and family. Betty and family.
Oh man, but nah, yeah, but no, this is going to be a good championship round. I feel like it's the two teams that, even though Betty and family has been at the top this whole season, Rosie, man, you climbed the way back up and you just been dominating, man, for a minute. And you finally got past Mr. Brad. That's
Man,
this
they do auto drafts every season, and then just be on top. It'd be weeks where he missed players, have
guy.
people who injured in there and still win. Be like, I don't know. He has the best luck of all time. I don't know how this happens.
It's crazy if he actually would try. But anyway, man, as far as my week, same here. Definitely took some tough losses. I actually lost this past week in our league as well by like 1 point. So it's just sad endings, but like I said, man, I just gotta do better next year. It hurts. It hurts, but it is what it is. But like you said, I had a very good Christmas. We've really just been relaxing a lot more and just spending more time together as a family. We cooked quite a bit and that was pretty much the majority of this past week, man. But yeah, man, Rosie, glad to have you back. Definitely heating up with the picks and things like that. But speaking of picks, man, let's just get right into recapping week 16. I cannot catch a break. I am trying to catch up to you, and it's just coming out even. It's crazy. I'm trying to even think what game. I think it was only like two. So okay, so right at number three, I picked the Ravens. You picked the Steelers. Thankfully, Ravens got through revenge, or let me say this: Lamar Jackson finally
Yeah,
got.
he had a big game. He had a big game. He's definitely in playoff form
Yes. Oh,
and
yes.
ready to make plays. He did really good.
Yeah. Number 13, it was the Jaguars versus Bills. So the Jaguars lost. That was actually a pretty good game too, but I mean, I don't want to say a good game, but I think that was a pretty good match between both of those teams. Final score is 14-19. But pretty weird game. But again, I don't nobody's really paying attention to either one of these teams, especially us being Chiefs fans. Lions, we knew they were going to destroy the Bears. Panthers, that was kind of a shock. I didn't see the Panthers winning versus the Cardinals, but Joe Burrow, man, he's putting up so many good numbers. Like it's crazy with the poor defense that he's had,
Right.
on the offensive line, who is just all kind of banged up and everything. One game that really caught my attention was that Vikings Seahawks game. That game was pretty much done for. That came down to like the last minute, or whatnot. But Sam Darnold, he threw a bomb to, hey, the number one of the number one wide receivers in the league, Justin Jefferson, and he caught
Right.
it in double coverage. So and it was a game-winning touchdown pass. Like, no time left. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that he threw that in double coverage was crazy. Um, I think the Bills, are just, Josh Allen, man. Now I will say this because the Patriots they did score first, and then even when you look at it, they only play, they only played. Excuse me. Whew, they only won by 3 points versus the Patriots.
Yeah.
So, Josh Allen, I mean, I'm not too sure what's going on, but he still had a very good performance. But, the Patriots is really trying to, Drake May. Drake May is going to be a problem next year, I think, with the right wide receivers around him. So I just want to highlight a few of those games. But man, let's get to what we all want to really get to.
So the Chiefs took on the Texans. Good game. The Chiefs came out on top 27-19. Um, CJ Stroud had a decent game, but threw two picks, threw for 244, two touchdowns, and two picks. Um, the Texans' run game was non-existent. Joe Mixon, 57 yards on 14 carries. So, I mean, not terrible, but, the Chiefs defense did a great job of making CJ Stroud have to win the game. Let's talk about Tank Dell, man. I had Tank Dell starting that game,
Oh, you did.
and like he was going off.
Oh
Then
man.
he catches that touchdown, and then his knee is dislocated. I mean, it was kind of a gruesome deal, and it was kind of like a freak accident because catches the ball, comes down the ground, turns over, and his knee is just like on the other side of his leg. Um,
His own teammate ran into, I mean,
uh,
it was an accident, obviously,
yeah,
but his teammate just, I mean, I can't remember if he went, because he was already down in position, but it was either like shoulder or it was just a bad collision, unfortunate. He still got you quite a bit of points in that
no,
game.
he still scored like 23. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Nah. Yeah, that was unfortunate, man, because you can just I don't know. Me and some guys were talking about that right after that game or during that game, just how look at the emotions that came out of CJ Stroud from that, and it just seemed like I'm not trying to be funny, it just seemed like it just went downhill because even after Tank Dell scored that touchdown, the kicker even missed the extra point. Like, I mean,
I mean, it's pretty it's hard to watch a teammate go through something like that,
yeah,
you know. Um, but I
yeah.
mean, just Tank Dell, he's been battling injuries his whole career. Like it's like he can't play more than one or two games without getting banged up. And I think like a lot of that is just of how some of the receivers in the league now are just so small.
Mhm.
Not to say anything about their strength, they're fast and strong guys, but man, like some of these guys cannot handle contact at this kind of speed.
Yeah.
And now this was definitely incidental because it was his own teammate, but I mean, he's been but But besides that, he's been banged up all year.
Yeah. Yeah, yes. Just on and off, yeah. And it's, I mean, geez, man, I feel like this I don't know if we say this every season just about injuries, but it really has been a lot of injuries, like every team, all 32 teams, man. So, um, you know, obviously that was more of a season ending, their season is over with anyway. We're just gonna hope and pray that he will be back. We know he's going to be back, at the beginning of the season next year, but let's just hope he can really get back to 100% to where he can play, over
Right.
70% of his games,
Right.
So, 'cause he, he,
Like that
he
injury, it's season ending, but it's not crazy. Like dislocated kneecap isn't like he'll get back. Like he'll be fine. He'll get back in the off season. He'll be back rather than in the next 4 months or so, and he'll be good.
Yep, yep,
Um, Now to go to the Chiefs stats, Patrick Mahomes went 28 for 41, 260 yards and a touchdown, and then rushed for another 33 and an additional touchdown. He's been definitely using his feet to get him out of dangerous situations lately. Um, you know, he gets banged up too with his ankle and all that kind of stuff. It's like, man, like we have to protect him to
yep,
be able to keep him good because I mean he's gonna always push through. He's gonna always, play play through the injury and things like that. But we have to get some people around him. I just think but the Chiefs overall uh roster is pretty solid. We need another like tackle. Like
yeah,
I actually like Joe Tooney when they moved Joe Tooney to left tackle in that Houston game. It's just better for us. Those other guys on that left side, whether it be Ronnie Morris or Stu Mattia, like those guys just aren't ready to go yet. I mean, Ronnie Morris is not bad at guard, so when they move Joe Tooney to tackle, then Ronnie goes inside, that's better. It's just that man, like we need a solid left tackle for sure.
for sure. I mean, hopefully, I mean, we know what's going to happen, when it comes to the draft time, but you know, every team always gets lineman period, but hopefully we do get, you know, get something good out of the draft class high up there as far as that goes. Xavier Worthy, man, he's definitely been showing the past few weeks. He's the number one guy right now, with even though yes, Hollywood Brown came back, but we know he has to get back in the rhythm of things. Hollywood still went from what 5 receptions for 45 yards.
All right,
That's a good way to come back into it, but like I said, Xavier Worthy, they got this man doing. You want him to go on a fly route, you want him to jet sweep. You want listen. At this point, I wonder, Rosie. Remember this. I'm kind of predicting all of these jet sweeps that they have Xavier Worthy doing. I am now predicting that he's going to end up throwing a touchdown to. In my opinion, he's probably going to end up doing some type of flea flicker, some type of deal where he's going to end up throwing a touchdown to one of our tight ends.
gotcha. Okay,
I mean, I just feel like that's where it's setting up at. Man, I'm looking at the stats. I keep forgetting we got Juju Smith-Schuster back.
zero, zero. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's not. He ain't been in there like that. If he is, then he's blocking.
yeah. Hey, he's a team player though, so I'll take it, man. Man, but that's pretty good though for that week. Good point differential. Better than a 1 point game. Again, win's a win. But like you mentioned about the fans, I know a lot of people really got to relax in like the fourth quarter a little bit. Feels good.
Right.
Let's get into this week. Let's get them chopping, man.
Get them
What we
chopping.
got this week?
So you know, uh, this was so shocking at the NFL level that my guy talked about this last week. It was like we can do a part two because I don't because he didn't think that you guys really understood how how this doesn't happen. You know, especially at the NFL level when you're getting paid,
Yeah,
um, and just how it doesn't send a great message to the younger kids playing this game. Um, De'Vondre Campbell, as we spoke on last week, you are our get 'em chopping part two. So, like as we know, you know, the 49ers was playing De'Vondre Campbell quite a bit, mainly due out of like he was the next guy up after Dre Greenlaw, and then Dre Greenlaw comes back. That cut Campbell's playtime.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so they ended up having injuries in the game, and they looked to Campbell like, "Hey, go on in." He walked off the field
Yeah.
because he was angry because his playtime had been cut. Um, and I'll let Scooby speak on this a little bit more, and then I'll give you my take.
Sure. So man, so again, it was just, I mean, it was just horrible to just to see. I was actually watching that game that day, but just seeing an NFL player walking off the field again, like I mentioned last week, we seen this, what was that, like a couple, I can't even remember, a couple year what a couple years ago with Antonio Brown, where he walked off the field. And again, please check out the full episode from last week, guys, because again, I kind of went in a little bit just saying how this is why mental health is important, because no, I don't know, Antonio Brown, he had a lot going on, and everyone knew that he had a lot going on in his head. And then boom, next thing you know, he just walked off the field. So that was definitely the end of, what, the last time we seen him in the NFL. And I'm pretty sure this might be the last time we see Devondre Campbell, in the NFL as well. But you never know, but I just can't see any NFL team wanting, this type of character, on the team with, a lot of other men, especially when we're all putting it on the line. So again, my whole take on it last week, the one thing that I kept mentioning is that, I really have to wait for Rosey to get back here, so we can talk about this. And so the first question I want to ask is, like I said, with me and you being leaders, and we can just talk about like our senior year, right? With me and you being leaders on that team, and you know how crazy I was if somebody just laid on the ground after a play. You know what I'm saying? Like after the play is over, we up, you know what I'm saying? We getting ready for the next play, we communicating, talking to each other. But um I just I just can't imagine one of my teammates, even if they're on the sideline, whatever the case may be, but I just can't imagine them actually just walking out of a game during the game in the third quarter. If this was one of your teammates, how would you even react to this?
So honestly, like if it's high school,
Yeah.
you know, if I'm not in, like if I'm telling whatever, and I see that happen, like I feel like one of the leaders on the team, not a coach, needs to go get him
Yes. Okay.
and bring him back out.
Yeah.
It's not a coach's job because I mean the coaches have to coach. If a kid walks off, one of those leaders on the team needs to go get their teammate and bring them back. Um, Pro level, the same thing needs to happen, but when you're getting paid to do a job, Nobody's gonna make you come out here and make this money. So
Yeah.
if you're walking away from the bag, then that's on you.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a little different because that should motivate you to stay out there and play, regardless of your emotions or like how you feel you should have played more. It doesn't matter because your check is still coming in regardless. Um, so as a coach, because you see this a lot where I mean everybody's happy as long as they're starting, as long as they're playing as much as they think they should be playing. But whether it's coach strategy or somebody took your spot or whatever it is, things happen throughout the season. So I always tell my guys at the beginning of the season, be, before we even start playing games, I say, hey guys, listen, everybody out here is important to the team. You need to find your role. So whether your role is to be a starter, your role is to be a rotator, your role is to be a true backup, your role is to just cheer on your teammates and get this football experience, and then you can take that into next season. Whether your role is to be on kickoff, special teams, and all that, like know your role and just do your 100%. It's your role. And I tell them, I say, if you are a guy who is saying to themselves right now, if I'm not a starter, then I'm going to quit the team. Go ahead and leave now,
Get up out.
because the way things happen throughout the season with injuries and things like that, I need to know that I can depend on you. If you're only happy when things are going well, then you're not going to be here when the times get tough. So I tell them, I mean, this is preseason, summer practice before we ever even get close to a game. If you're only happy because you're starting, then then you can go home now because it's going to be a tough year. It's going to be things that happen throughout the season, and I just want to know who I have, who I can depend on. So De'Voндre Campbell did not show that he is dependable because it's all about him.
Yeah.
So I think his case is different from Antonio Brown. I don't think it's as severe. I think De'Voндre Campbell just got in his feelings.
Yeah.
I think he will get another shot because it wasn't as black. It wasn't. He didn't run out on the field with his shirt off, right? Like he
Right.
walked back. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Antonio Brown was like completely outlandish. Like, not. It was very inappropriate.
Yeah.
Devontae Campbell's actions were terrible, but the way he did it was not a public embarrassment like how Antonio Brown did. So I do think a team will take a chance on him. I don't think he's done. He's still young. He's 31 years old. He still has some juice left. So I don't think he's completely ruined that opportunity now. I think that will be a red mark on him though.
For
So
sure. Yeah. I mean, and you know how much of a rough neck I can be because I'm definitely going to disagree. I think he's done. But like you said, totally different situation from Antonio Brown. Obviously not as inappropriate. At least he walked off the field. He just like the head coach said, he just said he don't feel like playing. No, or I think
yeah,
in his words, he does not feel like playing today or something like that.
right.
So,
Yeah.
but again, we don't know what was going on in that locker room. I think that's one of the biggest situations is nobody has actually like Devondre Campbell has not given a response to anybody. You know what I'm saying? So nobody, like you mentioned, Rosie, nobody really knows what what's really going on in that locker room or on the field or whatever. Um, even and again, even AB, he did try to voice what his issues were. I think he said that he was actually his
Injured.
ankle he was injured, but
Right.
they were trying to make a play. So it's like I can understand that, but dang, like
Right.
that was just too much, you
Mhm.
know. So
And I'll say this too. And a lot of things happen out of emotion when you're losing
yeah,
too,
yeah,
because we also have to put into perspective that the 49ers were in the Super Bowl last season.
yeah,
So when your team is winning and you're competing for, playoff contention and you are, fighting to possibly be in the Super Bowl,
mhm,
um, people are more willing to be better teammates and be better and be more coachable because things are going well. Um, I
that's
think another piece is De'Vondre Campbell was like, "We're not going to the playoffs. We're 6-9. It doesn't matter. We got one more game left this year. Whatever's happened, like it doesn't matter." I think if I think he bites the bullet and he does what his team needs if everything's going right,
yeah,
which goes back to my point of like, hey, coaches need to know who they can depend on even when things are not going right.
yeah.
So, yeah,
And last thing I'll mention is that was the big thing all over the internet, right? The big thing all over the internet, and who knows? Because everybody on the internet could have been wrong, but everyone is just saying that they signed Devondre Campbell on a 1 year contract specifically to just to replace excuse me, to replace
Gregory Law.
Paul until he comes back. Now, again, everyone's saying that is what the deal, that's what the contract was until Dre Greenlaw comes
Right,
back. Nobody knows that for sure. You know what I'm
right,
saying? But again, like you mentioned, Rose, it's just the right way to do things. For the fact that they went to the Super Bowl last year, they know what it takes. You know, they had a lot of the same athletes on that roster, but it has to be something else going on, or like we mentioned, he's just a little butt hurt that he has to go to the bench now. So it is what it is, man. But again, man, let's talk about some of the younger guys, man. Let's get to college football. I mean, it was pretty fair on everyone who actually won and lost and whatnot. Um, as far as my prediction, the I think everyone who I predicted to win actually won. And to advance to the next round.
right.
But what's your take on what's going on around here with college football, man?
Like I mentioned last time when we were talking about college football, was like that those first round games is the first time of us seeing like college teams really traveling like across country, because most of the time you're like schedule and your rivalry games and things like that are usually relatively in that same region. Now there are some conferences that have teams like on the whole other side of the country, but it was very interesting, and I really like the 12 team playoff idea. Like I think we're getting to a good spot with college football to where we're taking out the like politics and who people want to see and things like that. Like you truly are getting more of a March Madness type, like, hey, win or go home, anything can happen type situation. And kind of just looking at these second round games, um, Ohio State versus Oregon, that's big. Arizona State versus Texas,
Yeah,
Notre Dame versus Georgia, and Boise State versus Penn State. I'm very interested with Boise State because they've had a great year. Their running back was the runner-up for the Heisman, and just to see if they can really compete with the Power Four
yeah,
type competition. So, um, I, Ashton Genty is a dog. I think he will go on to have a great NFL career as well. But we will see what they're able to do with Penn State. Georgia, Notre Dame, that would be a great game. I mean, it's just very, 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 very exciting with these last 8 teams that are left.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
just yeah,
Nah, for sure, man. Yeah, yeah. Dang, I'm looking at it. It's a bowl game on right now. It's K-State and Rutgers playing right now.
yeah.
But
That's the thing too. It's like this has the 12 team playoffs has really taken most of the attention away from like those bowl games because some of those bowl games that would have been higher level bowl games are like whatever because they saved those like bigger bowl games for the playoffs.
true, man. But yeah, yeah. So it's going to be interesting to watch a lot of these teams playing pretty soon. But again, this next round, let me see. I'm trying to find. It looks like the first game, as far as the playoff game, it's the Fiesta Bowl. It's the on Tuesday, December 31st, between Penn State and Boise State. And then actually, that's the only game. And then I think the other three or four games are going to be on January 1st. So it's going to be a lot of football within those 2 days that we
Oh, yeah, definitely.
kind of pay attention to. Actually, man. But yeah, 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 man. So again, like I mentioned in the beginning, I think everyone who's just ranked, I think everyone who won great games, but I think that's how it's supposed to go. They were going to win. I think most people knew. Um, so yes, it's three good games. I'll definitely be paying attention to that Ohio State and Oregon game. But that I got a good feeling about this Notre Dame and Georgia game too. So a lot of good football left. Man, all on excuse me, all on New Year's Day, January 1st. So we just got to keep an eye out, man. Man, please comment down below just who you guys think are going to win each of these games, and we will just keep continue to give our opinions, give our scores and our picks and things like that. Last thing, Morosi, while we're looking at the bracket, it's only four games. So who do you think is going to win each game?
Okay, so number 8, Ohio State versus number 1, Oregon. I'm gonna go Oregon.
Okay.
Number 4, Arizona State versus Texas. I'm gonna go Arizona State.
Okay. Okay. And what about
Um,
okay.
Notre Dame versus Georgia. I'm going Georgia. Penn State versus Boise State. I'm gonna go Penn State.
Yeah, okay. So mine are kind of similar. Ohio State, Oregon, I'm going with Oregon. Arizona State, Texas. I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna go with Texas. You know, that's gonna cut it very close because Arizona State is doing pretty good this year. Notre Dame versus Georgia, I am going to go with Georgia. And Penn State versus Boise State. I don't let's just go on a limb. I'm gonna go with Boise State. We're just gonna see. Let's see what Ashton Genty does this week, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, man, that'll do it. So man, here we are in week 17. Obviously two games already played, and we both won those. Chiefs and Ravens. They played yesterday. Saints,
Oh,
Raiders.
yeah, Saints Raiders.
Yeah, I was really up and down about this pick because I know Alvin Kamara he got hurt, whatnot. And then I'm not even sure if Taysom Hill is going to be playing in this game as well. So uh yeah, that's why I just had to go with the Raiders because, you know, hey, their team is coming together. I
Yeah,
mean,
for
thank
sure.
they got some young guys who are catching the balls too. So we got to see how that game goes. Even number 12, we got I picked the Jaguars, you picked the Titans. I probably made a mistake on that because the Titans, um,
The Jags have been coming down. I mean, they've been down anyway, but then Trevor Lawrence is still out, right,
yeah,
with the concussion. So I went Titans on that one.
oh yeah, yeah. I went out on a limb on that one, man. But we're gonna see how it goes. And even let me see, number 14,
This is
Packers.
gonna be a good one. And this
Oh
is a
yeah,
good,
oh yeah,
just a good, like, division rivalry. Like they, it's just a good game.
yeah. I like Packers defense. That's why I had to go with them. But yeah, it just seemed like it's going to be more of a shootout and things like that. But look at Sam Darnold, man. That game winning throw was crazy. But hey, that was all him. And that looks like that's it. So we got what is that? Two no two ga three games, two games, two pick
Three,
three.
3 games, yeah.
So this is definitely going to be a tiebreaker. It's an odd number this week. So I'm coming after you, man. I'm tired of all these draws and stuff. This is crazy with these draws. It's an odd number, so somebody has to win this week.
Somebody has to win,
Oh, thank goodness. All right, man.
and it's going to be me.
Well, we do appreciate everyone being here today. Please comment your thoughts. Give us your picks between the NFL or even college. You know what I'm saying? And we'll just keep going from there. But Rosie, again, thank you again. I'm glad to have you back. Um, we're definitely just going to see how this next week goes because it's a lot of good football. Got some bowl game or champ, whatever you want to call it, because even there's still going to be more college games after next
Right,
week. So
right,
I think that's nice too. You know what I'm saying? Normally college is old, like their last games are always like what, New Year's Eve or New Year's Day or something like that.
right. Yeah, it's gonna go a little bit longer this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. Well, again, thank you all for being here. This is the 50/60 show.
Well, we always gonna give you 110%.
Right, that's right, man. I'm your host, Scoops,
And I'm Coach Rosey.
and we appreciate y'all, man. Thank you.
All righty. He killed.